G'day guys and welcome back to another episode of the Build Insight podcast. We are going to wrap up this mini-series today. We're still live from the Circus Studio at the Bowens Port Melbourne store. My name is Luke, joined by my co-host Dean. Last chat for the day, we have got Tim from Emerald Building Services and Chris from Primebuilt Constructions. We're going to do a little bit of a builders panel chat style conversation here for the afternoon. Guys, I'm just going to pass over to you quickly. Give us a bit of an intro on yourselves. What do you do?
Builder. Based in Mornington Peninsula. We specialise in high-performance passive house, but have always been in renovation, extension, custom new build.
Great. Chris?
Yeah, we're eastern suburbs, sort of in a little bit southeast as well. Got a long history, family, second generation. So we feel like we've done everything from some commercial, some multi-unit, and then obviously some high-end stuff as well, and some alteration addition stuff, all bespoke stuff. So is what we've been tending to do over the last sort of decade.
Awesome. It's been good actually. We had a quick catch up because it's nice, I guess, the way that the industry is moving and everybody collaborating and interacting with each other all around the country. I've had the pleasure of meeting these two blokes before, even though we're in different states, so it's nice to catch up. I guess go back a little bit and can we touch on just a quick insight on how you guys actually got into the industry? Where did your journey start?
My dad was an electrician, so it was always sort of around trades, growing up on farms up in Albury. Just, I guess, seeing what he went through in business, and then the ups and downs of that. But I still followed into trade. Somehow my brother was a carpenter, my brother-in-law was a builder. I started doing apprenticeship, well, not a pre-app. It was just work experience really in year 10 with my brother-in-law's company, travelling up and down to Canberra. Ended up doing a carpentry apprenticeship with him. We did a lot of heritage work. So I guess the details with heritage carpentry sort of really ticked the box for me. And then, jumped on and did my builder's license while I was an apprentice. So I did 2.5 years, 2 nights a week, night school back then. On top of my apprenticeship. So by the time I was 22, I was registered builder, qualified carpenter.
Going back, obviously, you just mentioned your dad was an electrician. At any point, did you consider being a sparky?
I don't think so, actually. I don't know why, but I just never went that direction. I don't know whether that was him driving that or not, but there was a lot of trades in our family, I guess, and the hands-on approach, I guess that coming off the farm sort of led more towards the carpentry route, I think. And I obviously looked up to my brother-in-law and my brother and sort of followed in their footsteps. So
yep.
Tim, I did about 2 days electrical work experience with my father-in-law. I got the hell out of there. Like, nah. But
because of your father-in-law?
Can probably confirm, yes. But no, I wasn't. I was came from a family of builders and I thought, nah, timber's my jam. So we've got, as I was going to say, jump in here, but two, in my opinion, two of the best gentlemen in the game right here sitting on this table. So, Chris, I know you've got a really great relationship and connection with your dad. So your journey was a bit more different, father, son, and looked up to your dad and still do, I think, mate. You've got a great relationship, yeah?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're pretty lucky. My earliest memories were on a job site. So there was 5 generations of plumbers before me and my brother, and we buggered that up. He became a sparky and I'm a chippy. But yeah, Dad went from plumbing to building, and had a crack. His first job was a spec. Yep. Bought a block of land. They had what was called builder's terms back then, so you sort of didn't have to pay for the block of land until 6 months in, and you'd have the house 3/4 built by then, and that was how it all worked. So then we're in a bit of a growth area out the eastern suburbs, sort of Doncaster, Templestowe area, and he just sort of kicked on from there. So I remember driving from, they were paddocks then, from sort of one job to another. He had 13 in this estate that he was doing, and getting utes bogged and having to get them out. And I just remember stealing the little lock mechanisms off the old XF Falcons from the other trades that we knew, and there was always one missing, so you'd have to go and steal it back. But yeah, that was a bit of fun. And then I went, naturally ended up at a tech school, tried to do some
Mate, do they have tech schools anymore?
No,
You're
they
showing
don't.
your age, aren't you?
No, they don't. But they, I was having a crack at all the physics and the maths and all that stuff, and I was getting through, but it wasn't pretty. And went to a tech school for a bit of fun, really, and then knew I was going to go into apprenticeship. I knew the bloke I wanted to do it with, who another fella called Tony. My dad's name's Tony as well, so he was predominantly a framer. So just hanging off roofs and doing that sort of stuff was my jam. And then I shifted in the last 12 months of my apprenticeship just to try and have a tilt at grabbing the rest of it on the way through, and then was just running dad's jobs from then on until I think about 2010 or 11 I got registered, and the rest is history.
Was there an opportunity to do the apprenticeship with your dad?
No, well, Dad's not a carpenter, and I mean he wasn't being on the tools. I saw this other fella, Tony, and they were having a pretty good time at work, but they're like just a hard taskmaster sort of.
Yep.
And I still remember ringing him. I did work experience with him one day a week in year 12, and then I rang him up and said, I knew it was going to be hard. I'm like, can I get an apprenticeship? And it was when GST was coming in, and he goes, yep, but if it turns bad, you're the first one out. I'm like, no worries, I can take that.
Yep.
Got in, the other kid went out. And that wasn't hang on, that sounded good, but might have said more about him than me. So, and then that sort of went from there, and we're still good mates to this day. So
Awesome. Amazing, mate.
For over 130 years, Bowens has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowens as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build insight together with Bowens.
Real people,
Real insights. So both started your journeys as carpenters, and I guess it's that you get through the journey of being a builder, from carpenter to becoming a builder, and we don't get those sort of glory days of tunes blaring on site, shit taking, piss taking with all the crew. We're out doing more of the serious stuff. So what do you guys do to stay connected with the team?
you go, mate. We'll keep this trend, I reckon.
I think we've tried pretty hard over the past to sort of drive our culture in our business. I guess it fluctuates as you go through and your business grows. But from time to time, we try and get out there and go-karting or have a barbie or whatever, that sort of thing as well. But my construction manager was my first apprentice when I moved down here, so he's just ticked over 12 years with me.
Cool.
So he tried to leave at one point, that 7-year itch, but realised that maybe the grass wasn't greener on the other side, and he could actually achieve what he wanted to achieve in life, not necessarily in construction, but staying where he was. And he's been part of our team and family for the last 12 years, and he just had a baby a couple of weeks ago. So
Crazy.
yes. Our team, I guess, outside of that, we just sort of view them as family, I guess, and we try and teach them more about, life rather than what we're doing at work. Work's one part of our life,
Yep.
but we just spend more time with them than probably our own family for the most part. So you've got to all be able to get along there, and I'm proud of all the team that's sort of come up through and gone and moved on as well to bigger and better, or maybe not, but at least I've had a part of their journey and set them on their path.
Said, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely you can be disconnected at times with it. Like when you mentioned we're sort of behind the scenes and driving your things, and you can potentially sometimes overanalyze and complicate things, and sometimes you just got to simplify it and get out on site. And I mentioned to Lukey before about occasionally putting a bag on or something, that'd be good. Which, if any of my team are watching this, they're going to be laughing bullshit right now. But and I get that. But it's funny because you know it to be true, even if it was a couple of hours. We do a bit of that stuff too, like barbecues, and we were trying to do a bit of a post-project sort of party or anything, but with go-karting, someone would have a significant project, just go and do something half a day. which we sort of did, but I don't know, we're not perfect. I don't. One thing I do that we try and focus on is we do like everyone's got to fill out, we call it a Focus 30, which is just every 30 days they just fill out, like it's 3 or 4 questions. There's a personal column and there's a professional column. And I got this from a sort of another mentor of mine, runs a couple of thousand staff sort of thing. It was just a snippet from one of his sort of monthly reporting templates. And you get a lot from it because you don't realise how quick 4 weeks goes past. And a lot of things can go missing, things go in someone's life you don't know about, they don't talk to you about because they're coming to work to put in a lentil or do whatever they're doing. They're not telling you that, their mum's crook or something like that. So, and they don't have to, like the personal stuff's elective, but you soon find out like it gets filled out most of the time, which is good.
That's a great idea.
Well, we had one guy identified he wanted to buy a car by the end of the year. I'm like, cool. And then like 1 month he says, I spent too much money on the piss this month, basically. I'm like, well, mate, that's up to you, but your car's getting further away.
Yeah.
So he's hell-bent on buying a van or something, came back after Christmas with a dual cab, but that doesn't matter. And so, yeah, but like it was good because off the back of that, I'm saying, mate, there's work on Saturdays, there's all these things, like we've got a yard with all this excess, just, materials and windows and things like that. I'm like, if you can sell it, I'll you can kick back whatever it is. So he just sorted all that Gumtree Facebook stuff out.
Yep.
And whether it was beer money or dual cab money, it sort of worked. But I only knew that because he was filling out his things. So pretty cool.
That's a nice touch, mate. Just to be connected. We're at work and deal with our workmates and employees more than we are with our families sometimes. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Maybe let's dive into a bit about the type of projects that you guys actually do. We got any specific client that you're targeting, or solely new builds, solely renos, bit of everything? Give us some insight on what you actually do.
So I guess probably the majority of our work has been in the renovation extension space. I enjoy the challenge, to be honest. I've always looked at new builds as they look easy. And the few we have, they just seem to be much more smooth sailing because everything's planned from the start. I've just sort of always loved having to think on your feet, which is, I guess, like today, really. You guys stitch this up, but it's,
a couple of pages worth of notes here. We're just going to dig into your life story.
And your password.
That's it. Passwords. You can't leave the table or the premises until we have.
But yeah, predominantly renovation extension, but custom new build. But every time we've done a new build, it's not your cookie cutter. It's always something interesting.
Yep.
So predominantly we're finding lately our main clientele are either those looking towards retirement or are retired, or sort of younger professional families looking to set up their lifestyle so that they can support their kids the best way they can. So it's a good mix, I think. I guess that part of the market's very much where I am in my life, young kids. And so I get that. But it's really, it's good having the older generations and people looking towards, that retirement and being able to see what that, like both ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as projects wise, hopefully we're kicking off our subdivision soon. So we've designed certified passive house, going sort of Scandinavian barn style. That will pretty keen to get moving. It's been a long process, but I've been a chronic asthmatic for the majority of my life, so I'm pretty keen to push that through and see how that affects or benefits also my health and my family's health. So
this is a development for you guys to move into?
Yep. Yeah, so we bought a block in Mornington probably 8 years ago and renovated the front house. It was actually one of the original homesteads when it was a dairy farm down there. Some of our neighbours who are in their late 80s, early 90s were the first subdivisions. There's this quaint little court that when we moved in, my wife and I, sort of, what were we, late 20s then, I guess, We probably brought the average down to about 1875 in the court. Still had the court Christmas parties and all of that. So, but now there's been a slow transition in that space where there's younger families moving in, and my son's just in prep this year, so it's cool to have a few neighbours that are in prep in his school and all that sort of thing. So, so we got to renovate the. Apparently, it was the original homestead on the dairy farm. So
I'm sure there was some prying eyes watching very closely what you were doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's well and truly developed, that area these days, but solid as it's barely a crack in the joint.
Can't wait till you get your marketing sorted out for that, mate. Like from dairy farm through to passive house. There's something cool there you can play with. That sounds exciting.
I like your thinking.
Yeah.
Dino, so I rocked up to site last week, got scratch bench tops, paint all over the windows.
Let me guess, Lukey. No goop?
No goop. And now we're spending big bucks trying to fix it.
Mate, Goop Guys roll on a thick, peelable, protective coating that saves your surfaces.
And your budget.
And your sanity, Lukey.
Seriously, check them out. goopguys.com.au. Protect your job from the start.
So, Chris, I know you've done a lot of different things, mate. There's one project in particular, I don't know how long ago it was, but was it a racing facility or a horse?
Yeah, so we did a project in, it was started about mid-2020, just at the right time for the world. And it's on 50 acres and it's a horse stud. And the footprint of the house, so it's got a 40-metre long hallway. And there's only two people that live there.
40 metres?
Yeah, there's only two people that live there. And the master bedroom's at one end of the house, and the sort of kitchen and we'll call it a pool. Well, it was a pool room, but like a proper pool. It's probably bigger than the room we're in now. Was at the other end. So the house is one part of it, but we also did the stables. So family have proximity, 70 or 80 horses, I suppose, and they're right into it. But ripping story. That they have had a fair bit of recent success off the back of one or two particular horses, but they're named after their late daughter. So they're doing it on behalf of her. Yeah. So it actually won Horse of the Year last year. And hugely successful. So it's been a bit of a journey to go on with them, which has been really good. But in particular, there is, the house had some really interesting sort of finishes and things in there too. And one particular area over the pool was this 12-sided cedar-lined roof that sort of just peaked up, and it took, I can't even think, probably 6 months for 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's just massive, and just the platform over the pool to actually get the scaffold up there, it was just huge. So we have got, to answer your question, we have got a bit of experience with this, that and the other, if that makes sense. But in terms of who we typically work for, it's funny looking back. In a strange way, you sort of isolate a lot of it. A lot of people are self-employed, and I don't know if that's something that we ever cast a net for. But I think that's just sort of maybe who we attract. I mean, we probably see ourselves, like all builders, as problem solvers, and I think that leads to, rather than niching really hard on one specific type of build, there's problems to be solved in every type of construction, isn't there? And so over the years and I suppose the generation stuff, that's how we've applied ourselves. And more of recent times, it is probably new homes, and we do enjoy them.
Yep.
I do like starting fresh, mate. Sorry, but we do plenty of.
I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
no, we do. Look, we're halfway through. We're just gutting one now. Half gutting it to extend it and do that as well. So we do all of it, and we do enjoy the challenge of those. I think it's a nice blend, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing about. I think the same. Like there's times where a new build is nice because it's fresh and it's like clean landscape. But I guess with being custom, every project's different. You're not doing cookie cutter stuff, so you've still got the challenges of something that's never been done before. But then Luke here does just renos extensions as well, and but every project and every client's like starting a new job. Most people have to change locations and employers, but we're fortunate. But Let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit, guys. Where do you see the biggest challenges with being a builder in the current climate? From left again, Tim.
I think that it's just been a challenging 18 months, I reckon. Probably the toughest in my career, I reckon. Coming out of COVID, we had probably our two biggest years through the main years of COVID. Then obviously the bit of a boom afterwards, when particularly in the, I guess, renovation extension, where everyone was stuck at home in their houses and realised how much they hated them. Particularly, those who could continue working from home, and so the sort of couple of years out of COVID were really good as well. But just I think the last 18 months has been really lacking of leads. People just concerned. There's no confidence in the market. Lots of undercutting going on, and as a result, people going for the cheapest price rather than looking for quality. So it's been a tough probably 18 months, I guess, but I think just being able to grow with it, I think understanding what your numbers are in the business and where you need to trim back, working with your team and making sure they're aware of what's actually happening, so that if there is any changes, and we've probably dropped from, I think we had 8 or 9 in our core team plus contractors, and we're back to 4 now, and relying more on the contractors. But we've been using a team of carpenters since we were in that boom in COVID, pretty consistently since then. And it's just like we've put them through pro-climate training and stuff on jobs and whatever. So it's nice to be able to call them up and go, hey, I've got this coming up. I need 2 guys, or I need 3 on this one, and then this one's coming up, and actually, can you send one of your apprentices to give my boys a chop out? So I think it's just being able to roll with what's happening in the market and adapt, and knowing that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, but we've just got to find it.
Yep. Well said, mate. Yeah. Got you, Chris.
Biggest challenge is that, we could be here for a while, but it's definitely been, I would agree on the 18-month statement. It's from a few areas, I think. Like, we all know that it's become particularly rigid and bottlenecked in so many different areas to get projects to site and keep them going really well. Like, pre-cons do a lot for that too, but it doesn't, as we all know, it doesn't stop, the strangest of things that drive a wedge in your schedule. Buyers' confidence is massive. I don't know about you guys, but, short of one maybe. I don't think I've ever had anyone come with a larger budget than they need to build their house, which is an education thing, right? But I don't know that that'll ever go away. We certainly like to get in as early as we can and put some framework around that and try and educate them. But it's in a market that's definitely got some doubts, some consumer doubts. It's a harder sell.
Yeah.
I'm finding it that way anyway.
How are you, I guess, with some of the struggles that you're finding at the moment, trying to keep a positive mindset and front up in front of your staff members so that that's not relaying as well? You got anything that you're doing in particular to try and navigate that?
It's actually, at times, to be fair, it's probably been challenging in some instances. Yeah. It's probably just going back to basics, like I was saying before, just focusing on, from a first year apprentice sort of thing, and giving each one a bit more of that sort of, they don't necessarily need to know. It's not that you're keeping secrets from them, but they can't possibly know exactly what you're what you do all day.
Yep.
So just trying to actually engage into what they do all day a bit more, and then, open the door if they are curious, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably all you can sort of do. I mean, some days I'm still trying to work it out myself, mate. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you definitely just try and keep focused on just progressing one foot in front of the other. And that's, for them, that's completely different. There's probably steps that we've all walked before. But yeah, just as long as they're progressing and you give them a bit of context about what's going on. So we've got now a better read on pipelines and things like that in the business, dashboard CRMs are all set up and all this fancy stuff. But like I try and bring them in and just give them a bit of indication on what's going on there, like saying this is here and this is that and this is whatever. So we never got told that when we were apprentices. So you just try and give them as best as you can. Yeah. It's not just the apprentices, obviously, the qualified as well.
Yeah,
It's really channeling your focus into what is in your control.
Yeah, you sometimes forget that they could be forgiven for thinking like, what the bloody hell do we do all day? Do you know what I mean? And I know some of my guys hadn't seen me for 2 weeks yesterday. When I went to site and struggled watching them put that lintel in, but no.
That's why we don't go to site.
Yeah, I know.
We know better.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So they just, I wonder what they think I do all day. So you try and give them a bit, but not to confuse them. Like, let them stay focused.
Yeah.
Give them what they want. But yeah.
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
Find if you give them a bit of insight into like what's coming up, like they can get a bit excited about it, like especially if it's something new, something different, or we sort of try and talk to them about, hey, I'm going to have this pre-construction meeting with a client about this project, and try and just update them on it as we're going through, and like, I'm pricing that now, and this is what we're doing, and I remember that job we did, it's going to be similar to that, but this is how it's different, or it sort of gets them a bit excited about it and something to look forward to as well.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be different. Yeah, I'll probably overly share sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're a part of what we're doing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, all of our teams, without them, you're not achieving what your end goal is anyway, and that's building projects and having these opportunities to keep going and going. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys is obviously Wonderbuild, but that's pretty handy with the chat stuff in as well.
Yeah,
just putting in the team.
You're you using it as well?
Yeah, I bailed on the other mob.
Yeah, I we had some things set up, but we've got job channels for everything, and then there's channels for stuff that's not involved with building with the VAs, and just Darren and myself have chats for certain things as well. But yeah, we've got all the team in job channels, and we've got like one project at the moment that half the team haven't actually even been to. They're on a bigger one, but they can see the photos coming in, what's going on, and they still feel like they are across, everything in the business. Yeah. But yeah, we sat down a few weeks ago with a few of the guys and showed them some of the modelling that we've got coming into projects that will start later in the year, and just things that we're putting in, so they sort of see, what we're working on in the background. But you do then see the ones eyes light up who you could tell have got that extra bang. I'm a part of this. Yep. And there's always going to be the ones that are like, oh yeah, cool. But they're not to say they don't like what they're doing. It's just they're just happy. That that's not a tool that I'm going to swing around on site. So, but it's exciting. It is exciting that you've got people that you can grow in different ways. And we all started as carpenters, and there's times where you're going to get guys. We've probably all had people go through to help become a builder themselves. And if they can see good processes and systems that we're using, I'm happy to share that, because it means they're going to maybe make less mistakes that we've all made in our own businesses.
You have to, yeah. I think I remember years ago, I will recall it anyway, Gary Vee saying something about his, like everything is open to everyone in his business. Because even if they come and bring their best, take everything I've got, they've probably contributed a lot whilst they were there and then moved on, and good luck to them, sort of thing. Because that's going to happen anyway. Like that's already sort of predetermined for those, the people who are inquisitive enough to go and have a crack themselves. That's fine, and you want to help them. We've had guys just now come back and literally said the grass wasn't so green. Yeah. And then, well, that's not for me to say, but it was all on good terms, and they're continuing their learning journey with us, which is good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You have to keep it open. I think it's a good way to be.
it is. We've actually had a guy 5 years ago that left that still keeps in touch a little bit, and he's doing in the industry, but he's not in sort of the resi sort of stuff. And just ran into him, and he goes, "Mate, still miss working on stuff you're doing," and whatever. You could just see the fire in his belly was kind of there. But no, that was kind of cool because he's still admiring what's going on. But yeah, that's a good part of it. But some guys don't keep in touch, and others do.
Yeah, I think if you're into it, you take a bit out of it. Like I said, I'm still really good mates with the guy I did my time with. Probably too good of mates, to be honest. But, and I remember it. You just remember every lesson, and it was certainly no free runs with that fella, and it was good. It did me good, So I think anyone who works in a team environment, you work out pretty quickly if they're not interested.
Yeah,
but you got to offer it. You got to put it out there, and if they are, take it. All by the horn thief. So, yeah,
I think taking out of you both you guys resonated with it's been a hard 18 months, and the one thing I do sort of take out of what you both just said is, in your own ways, you've both evolved and looked at areas to get that growth, not just within yourselves and businesses, but the people that are working for you. So Tim, I know you're going through the Passive House side of things for your development. What are some things you've been doing, mate, within for yourself and the business and the team?
In regard to
just more growth and keeping the business evolving.
Yeah, so we have a business coach that's pretty heavily involved in our business. Been working with him for about 7 years now. And part of the stuff that we do with him, he's practically an employee of my business. I look at him as the most cost-effective team member. Costs less than an apprentice, but when you look at the other end of it and the outcome of what you get from it, it's phenomenal. So we've had really good support from him and his team, and we do team days as well, where we bring the whole team in and do coaching with them as well. Fortnightly with my management team as well with him. So just so that everyone's sort of across everything. They say teach them your job so that they can do it, and if they go off and do something else, then great, good luck to them. But if you don't teach them, that's completely opposite. It's going to be worse for you because you can't get rid of them and they aren't doing their job well. But if you give them something to look forward to and something to help them grow, find that the more we invest in them with that side of things, the better. My construction manager did the Passive House tradesman course with me. He wasn't really keen to go back to school. I wasn't really keen to go back to school. So we jumped in and did it together and supported our way through it. And off the back of that, now he's doing construction management at night school a couple nights a week as well. So, he came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do this." I said, "Go for it. Send me the bill." So
that's really cool, actually. We had Jesse Vella in earlier as well, and he said the same thing. He put his leading hand through the Passive House course when he did too. So good on you. It's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, he was my first apprentice, so he learnt with me on the tools full time. So, as a construction manager, he makes a decision, calls me and tells me this is what I've done, just letting you know. But because he's learnt that thought pattern or learnt how to actually do everything the same way that I did, it makes it so much easier because I can trust what he's doing on site. I can trust the decisions he's making without me giving oversight to all of that. And it makes total sense as we shift into the passive market that I need to know the same stuff that he needs to know, because if he's on the phone and calling me saying, this is what we've got to do, we've both got to understand exactly what's going on. But then further from that, the guys need to understand as well. You can't just know it and not impart that information to your team, because otherwise, it's not going to be executed. So, we've had training days where we had Air Boss Dan come down onto one of our projects and run through what we had done, give them tips and tricks. We had guys off sick that came in just to do that. They're like, "Yep, we'll be there." So, I think if you offer it, and like you said before, their eyes light up. You know that they're the ones that want to be invested in the business as well. So,
Yep.
yeah, you may as well do what you can.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of part 1 of our conversation with Chris from Primebuilt and Tim from Emerald Building Services. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to our website, buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes as well as links to our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
We just need to say a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. Without them, Build Insight wouldn't be possible. So to Bowens, Circus Studio, Wonderbuild, Goop Guys, Callery Building, and Backman Builders, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.